Hello. Hello, beefers. I'm sorry I'm late. I was. Oh, let me restart. Hello, beefers. Hello, beefers. And welcome to episode 4 of the Here's the Beef podcast. I'm a little bit late because I decided to make a drink. You know, I used to always, not to sound like I used to be an alcoholic, but I used to always have a drink with me on stream. And I feel like it loosened me up a little. And I was a little extra silly. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to my roots today and make myself a silly little drink for today's podcast. Because today's episode is about dreams. And I feel like that's a tricky little topic for me. Because what can I say about dreams? What is there to say? Well, there's kind of a lot to say, actually. But where the heck do I start? Well, first off, let me update you guys. The last couple weeks felt like a dream because, you guys, I have a lot to update you guys on. I was sick. That's why today's episode is late by a few days. And I might be clearing my throat or coughing. And I might sound sick because I had the worst sick I've ever had in my life, and I was in a weird fever dream the entire time. And I think maybe I had COVID. I don't know. I went this long without getting COVID, and now I might have had it, and I'm just like, what? But I didn't take a test, so it's not confirmed. I'm still gonna say I never had COVID. But, excuse me. Yeah, so the last couple weeks felt like a dream. First of all, let me just update you guys on something insane that happened to me when I was at work. So I had kind of the weirdest day that felt like a dream, which, hey, it's related to the podcast, okay? Because the day felt like a dream, so it fits the topic. So I woke up for work and I had terrible cramps. And I was like, ow, I am in pain. I'm gonna text my boss and ask if I can just come in late because I need to just lay here in pain and let the Advil kick in. So I did a half day that day. I came in at 12 for the last 4 hours of my shift. And I walk in and one of my other coworkers was leaving. He's like, bye. And I was like, okay, bye. So I was all alone in the office. Normally I share the office with 2 other people. But I was by myself in the office, and I hear, walking around on the roof. And I was like, what's that sound? And my boss was like, oh, they're doing work on the AC of the building. They're, working on the roof. And I was like, oh, okay. So I heard all this clanging around up there. Now, I sat down at my desk, all alone in the office. Sat down at my desk, turned on my computer, got all comfortable and situated. And my desk is in front of, these large windows. The building I work in is a 3-story building. I'm on the top floor, and my desk is in front of these huge windows. So I'm sitting there, sitting at my desk in front of these large windows, and all of a sudden, some big, giant blob just whooshes past right in front of me. Right in front of my desk, on the other side of the window. Something fell off the roof. And I was like, oh my god, what was that? The workers must have dropped some of their equipment. What the heck? And then I heard some kind of talking up on the roof. They didn't sound too panicked though. So I was like, oh, they must have just dropped something. So I kind of stand up and look over out the window at the ground. And this is a far drop, mind you. I look down and I see a huge giant cardboard box, and I was like, oh, that must be what they dropped. But then I notice next to the cardboard box there's a shoe, and I was like, was that just down there? Because the side of the building is these woods, right? It's a far drop into these woods. And I was like, maybe there was just a shoe in the woods. I don't know. That's kind of weird. And I look even further. I like stretch over out the window. There's a guy down there laying on the ground. And I was like, no way. Did that guy just freaking fall out the window? He's laying down there. So I was like, okay, yeah, this guy just fell out the window. Is he dead? Is he alive? I don't know, because that's a far fall. So I ran into my boss's office and I was like, hey, I think someone just fell off the roof. I just saw them. They didn't scream on the way down and they didn't scream when they were on the ground. They were just dead silent the whole time. So I was like, I hope this guy's alive because that's a far fall. So I was like, this guy just fell off the roof. What the heck is happening? So one of the other workers that was working with him on the roof ran down there and they tried picking him up. Like they tried to pick up his whole body and they tried to force him to stand. And this guy couldn't even talk. He just fell 3 stories. He fell so hard on his back. He can't even talk. And his coworker's trying to pick him up and have him stand, which is like what you're really not supposed to do. So me and my boss were kind of watching him do that and we were like, that's not good. Don't do that. You can like permanently really damage his back and everything. And then I had to go work on a live show and I was kind of very flustered. I was like, man, I just watched a guy fall out a window and possibly die. But he was alive. They brought him to the hospital. And I have 0 updates since then. So hopefully he recovered and didn't get into worse condition while at the hospital. All I know is that he was alive when he left the premises. So that was my weird day. And then after that, I did my live show and then I was like, I'm too flustered to do any other work. And my boss was like, you know what? That's reasonable. You can leave. And I was like, okay. So I went in late because of my cramps, saw a guy fall off the roof, and then I just like went home. So I pretty much just went to work to see that happen. So that was very interesting. That was a day that definitely felt like a dream that happened recently. And then being sick also felt like a dream. That was the worst sick I ever had. That's the reason I didn't do the podcast on Sunday. I had like every symptom ever. Like I was like, I had the shakes, like I was shivering, and then the next hour I'd be like burning hot, and then I'd be shivering again. It was absolutely terrible. And like my throat hurt so bad. My throat felt like it was cut up. So every time I swallowed, it was like the worst pain ever. And I couldn't even eat popsicles or drink Gatorade because the juice from the popsicles would sting my throat. So there was nothing I could do to like help myself. I couldn't eat anything and I couldn't even drink anything other than water. But even drinking water was not very pleasant. So I didn't have a great time. I'm still recovering from that. And I got sick. Oh my God, it's been a week. I started getting sick last Wednesday and now it's Thursday. So I'm on day 8 now. I'm getting better, don't get me wrong, but I'm still recovering from that. So that was an insane sickness. But here we are, well enough to stream, which is what matters. So, anyways, now that I've updated you on some weird, crazy stuff that's happened, I'm sure that other crazy stuff has happened, but that's just off the top of my head. So today's topic is about dreams. I've been thinking about this topic for some time now because the podcast was postponed. So I've had a lot of time to like really think about this topic and what I want to talk about. I've had a lot of weird dreams since I've known I'm gonna do this episode. Like when I was sick, I had a lot of weird like nap dreams. I have a lot of weird dreams when I like nap on the couch. Naps on the couch are dangerous when it comes to dreams. And I'll get more into like the couch napping later and how crazy that can get. But just while I was sick, just this last week, I had a nap on the couch and I had a super realistic dream that my brother is my roommate, by the way. My brother is my roommate and he has his girlfriend over all the time. And I had a dream he came home with another girl. And I was like napping on the couch. So like I dreamed that I woke up on the couch and he came home with another girl. And I was like, hello, brother Beef. Are you cheating on your girlfriend? That's not okay. And he was just like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Like, it's whatever. And I was like, no, you can't do that. That's bad. And it was such a realistic dream that I woke up from the nap and I thought it was still real. And I was like, did I dream that or did that actually happen? And I had to really sit there and think about it. But I was like, no, there's no way that could have happened in real life. And it was a dream. I remembered now. Don't worry, guys. My brother is not cheating on his girlfriend. But I was just like, why did I dream that? And how was it so realistic? I feel like a lot of times people think that when you dream something, it's something that you like secretly want. But that is in no way true at all because I dream like the weirdest things that I would never want ever. Like, in fact, I would hate if they happened in real life. But like, that's why also sometimes I feel like I don't want to tell people my dreams because I feel like they'll think like, oh, that means you subconsciously want that to happen. But it's like, no, not at all. My brain just dreams weird things. That does not mean I want it to happen whatsoever. At all. By the way, today's podcast, I have no idea how long it's going to be. I'm still getting over my sickness, so I'm not going to push myself too hard to try to go for an hour-long episode. But, yeah. I still have a cough. So, nap on the couch. Naps on the couch. I'm going to circle back to that because some of the weirdest dreams I've had have been on the couch. Especially being something that used to happen to me super often was getting sleep paralysis, which is something that I find very interesting, but something that I wish didn't happen to me because it's terrifying. It hasn't happened to me though since I started dating my boyfriend, so I haven't had it happen for over a year. I always wondered though, like, well, okay, first of all, let me explain to you what sleep paralysis is. Sleep paralysis is, I don't know the science behind it, but basically what happens to me is I'll be like half asleep, either falling asleep or about to wake up. I think usually it's when I'm falling asleep, and it's like 90% of the time it's a nap on the couch. It doesn't happen too often in bed, and I think the reason for that is because I get like an actual sleep when I'm in bed, but when I'm napping on the couch, like I'm kind of like half awake the whole time. And it always happens when I'm like very, very tired. But thank you for the sub, Vizian. Hello. But what happens is I'm like half asleep and I'm like about to start dreaming, but I don't actually fall asleep. I'm actually still awake, but my brain stays awake, but my body falls asleep. So, but my brain is also half asleep. It's so weird and hard to explain, but my body will fall asleep so I can't move it, but my brain is awake and I can like not move. Like I can feel my body and I'm like, okay, I want to move my arm, but like I can't. Like I'm literally paralyzed and it's so terrifying. But the more terrifying part of it is that you kind of hallucinate while it's happening because you are half asleep. So like half of your brain is sleeping, but the other half of your brain knows that you're awake and it's trying to move, but you can't move, and also you're hallucinating. So a lot of the time that can cause some really scary scenarios to happen. Luckily, when it happens to me, it's not usually like scary things that I'm seeing. Like it might have been the first time this ever happened to me. I was napping on the couch, got sleep paralysis, couldn't move, and my best friend at the time, I saw her like laying on the floor like this, like laying on the floor looking up at me on the couch, like, and I was just like, when did you get here? I can't move. Like, I was just like kind of like looking at her like, help me, help me. But she wasn't actually there. Like, I was home alone. And in that same dream, my grandpa was sitting on the couch, on like the other end of the couch, and I was like seeing him sitting there. And then my friend was like laying on the floor looking at me. And these like hallucinations, whatever you want to call them, were like crystal clear. Like I could see them clear as day. They were in the room with me, but I couldn't move and I couldn't talk. So I was just like in body jail, unable to move or talk, and seeing my friends and family around the room. And like it wasn't scary because of seeing them, because you know, it was like a normal hallucination, just with my grandpa and my friend. But it was scary because I couldn't move and I didn't know what was happening. And then I actually woke up and they weren't there. They never were. I was home alone. So that was the first time I ever got sleep paralysis, and I was like, what the hell? What the hell just happened? Um Also, when getting sleep paralysis, I've had it happen where I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I have sleep paralysis. Like, what do I do? So I just kind of like lay there and I'm trying to move my body, but I can't. I'm literally paralyzed. And then, like, I'll feel like this panic throughout my body, but it's scarier because I can't move. And that would happen all the time, and I would always just be like, oh crap, it's happening again. Like, what do I do? And I never knew what to do in this situation because I can't move, and it's very, extremely hard to relax in the situation because it is so scary. Um, what other hallucinations have I had during it? I, um, I think I usually just, oh, a big one that would happen reoccurring very often is I would have sleep paralysis, can't move, and I would imagine or like hallucinate my mom coming into the room and like trying to wake me up and like pushing on me and like, wake up, why aren't you waking up? And then she would kind of like be scared that like I wasn't waking up, and then like I would be scared because I'm like, I'm awake, I just like I have sleep paralysis, but like I can't explain that to her while I'm in it because I can't move or talk. But then I would like be freaking out, and then I would actually wake up and I would ask her about it, and she's like, what are you talking about? I never came in your room. And I'm like, oh, so I just imagined that whole thing. That scenario would happen all the time. I would always imagine my mom trying to wake me up. It wasn't even like imagining, like it was a full-on hallucination that I could feel. Like I could feel her pushing on me and everything. Like it was insane. It's like dreams can be so realistic, but when they're meshing with real life, it's just absolutely insane. Maybe that's how like how realistic like schizophrenia feels. Like I could actually like feel and hear and see everything. So like if schizophrenia is like that realistic as that would be, I mean like I imagine it would be because the human brain is capable of such things. Like that is insane. And that like really brings you down this road of questions of like, is anything real? If our brain is capable of imagining such realistic things to happen that are not real at all, to where you can feel, smell, see everything like crystal clear as day, like, what else am I seeing and feeling that isn't really there? Probably nothing, but I'm sure some people with like mental disorders out there, like I'm sure that happens to them with their um our brains are capable of a lot. It's absolutely insane. Hi, Peace, and I'm talking about sleep paralysis, which I'm really, really glad that I don't get anymore because I used to get that all the time and it was so terrifying. I was too scared to take naps because that's when it would primarily happen, was during naps. Like falling asleep at night, once in a while it would happen, but if I took a nap, I was like guaranteed you're gonna get sleep paralysis. But I have not had it since I've got my boyfriend, and I've always wondered, whenever I would get it, I would be like, because I've never had sleep paralysis and have someone actually like try to wake me up. I've always only ever been alone during it. And I've always like hallucinated people trying to wake me up, but no one has ever tried to wake me up. So I always wondered, like, would it be easy to wake me up from sleep paralysis? Because I can't wake myself up from it. Like, I'm half awake, but I cannot like move my body or anything. So it was always a big question of mine of like, what would happen if I got sleep paralysis while someone was actually in the room? Like, would they know that I had it? Would they be able to wake me up? Like, what would happen? So I was very curious about that when I got my boyfriend, because I had never had a boyfriend before, and I was like, he's gonna live with me. Like, what happens if I get sleep paralysis all the time? He's gonna like freak out and think I'm dead or something. But I haven't had it since then, so very happy about that. But it didn't absolve my curiosity as to what would happen if someone found me with sleep paralysis. Who was my favorite sleep paralysis demon? My sleep paralysis demons were always family members. Not in a scary way, though. Like, I would just hallucinate that my family members and my friends were in the room with me, either trying to wake me up or just, like, sitting in the room with me. I never had a scary sleep paralysis demon. My friend, my best friend Tesla, one time did scare me because they were telling me, like, oh, have you heard of those people that when they get sleep paralysis, they imagine this witch that like strangles them while they're sleeping and then they die because they think that she's actually strangling them? And I was like, no, I have not heard of that, and thank you for putting that image into my head. And then I was really scared that since they told me that story that I was going to hallucinate that and then die. I don't know where they got that information from, but they're like, yeah, people hallucinate this witch and she sits on them and like strangles them and they die. And I'm like, bro, don't put that information into my head. I'm going to hallucinate that now. But luckily I never did. Never hallucinated anything scary, but that doesn't mean that the sleep paralysis wasn't scary. It was absolutely freaking terrifying not being able to move and stuff. Not being able to move, not being able to wake myself up, not being able to talk or anything. But I think it'd be even scarier if someone was in the room with me. But because I'd be like trying to yell for help, which I normally do because I think someone's in the room with me, but I don't know, it's very interesting. I always like found it so interesting, but I hate that it happened to me because it's terrifying. And I'm very glad that it doesn't happen anymore. Now I want to talk about my weirdest dreams. They say that dreams can like mean things. What about like dreams that can predict the future? I don't think I've ever had any dreams that predicted the future. But what about deja vu? It could be like forgotten dreams that we've had that predict the future. I don't know. I also heard that when you get deja vu, it just means you're having a mini seizure, which scared me. I was like, I don't want to know that. I want to, I don't want to know things like that. But dreams having meaning is always really interesting. I used to always like look up what my dreams would mean. There's like this website called like Dream Meaning or something like that, and you would like look up the topic of your dream and it would tell you what it meant. But I felt like, like there's like those like classic dreams like, oh, if your teeth fall out then it means you regret something you said. But I always just dream those things randomly, and I feel like it doesn't have to do with anything in my life because I can never like think of anything to relate it to. I feel like it's just random. But like I always have those cliche dreams like the teeth falling out. Oh my god. Or like I've also dreamed that, this is cursed, but I've dreamed that my teeth are made of like acrylic nail material and they'll like crack on themselves. Like when I close my mouth, like the teeth will like break each other because they're made out of just like acrylic nail material. Like that is so cursed. Or I'll like, oh god, there's something in my teeth. Or I'll dream that like, my back teeth are falling out. And like, oh my god. Or the worst, I've dreamed that I only have like 4 teeth left and they're about to fall out, and I'm like, no, I don't want to lose my last 4 teeth. I'm just cursed by teeth dreams, because teeth already freak me out so much, so teeth dreams, I'm cursed by them. I once had a dream where I grinded my teeth and they fell apart like gum pieces. I feel like I've dreamed something like that as well. I've had all of the terrifying teeth dreams. And then the classic being naked in public dream. I've dreamed that a couple times. And that one is supposed to mean something too, but I feel like I just dream those cliche dreams randomly. Like I feel like it doesn't actually like have to do with what's going on in my life. Um, but something weird that happened to me. When was this? Maybe last year? Yeah, this happened last year. I had a dream that the ceiling, I was like in this I was okay. What was it? I had a dream that I was at like this some kind of like historical building, and the ceiling started cracking, and it started like falling in on me, and like the ceiling was crashing in on me. So I went and hung out with my mom the next day after that dream, and I told her about it. And I was like, Mom, I had a dream that the ceiling was crashing in on me. And she just looked at me like, Are you serious? Like, you dreamed that last night? And I was like, Yeah, why? And she's like, Last night I dreamed that a ceiling crashed in on you. And I was like, so I immediately went to Google and was like, what does it mean if someone dreams that a ceiling crashes in on you? Because me and my mom both dreamed that that happened to me the same night. And I don't remember exactly what Google said about it, but it said something along the lines of like, I think it said like you're getting overwhelmed and like, you feel like the world is crashing in on you, like something like like, pretty much what you'd expect the meaning to be. But I was just like, what the hell? Like, why did we both dream that the ceiling was crashing in on me? So I think like the meaning of it kind of made sense to me. I think that that was like right around the time I had just moved out of my parents' house, and I was moving out of my parents' house, I think was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, which makes it sound like my life is really easy, which, I am blessed with like a really great life. But moving out of my parents' house, like emotionally, was the hardest thing I have ever done. It was like, I felt so sad. I felt sad leaving my parents. And that was like right around that time that we both dreamed that. So I think maybe I was feeling overwhelmed and like, ceiling crashing down. I was moving into like a new house, and it was a hard time. That might have been, but it was just really weird how me and my mom both dreamed that. I think that my family, not to get super spiritual because I don't even know what I believe in, but my family is like so, what is the word? I don't even know how to describe my family. Like, I feel like we're all like so intuitive and like psychic, because me and my mom went and saw a psychic one time, and the psychic was like, holy shit, like y'all are psychic, like you guys should be psychic. And I was like, slay. No, but for real, like, like manifesting, the power of manifestation. My mom can literally manifest anything in the whole world. Like, she was like, I'm gonna manifest peacock feathers. She just randomly decided that, like, just to test it out to see if she could. So she's like, I'm gonna manifest peacock feathers. She just chose the most random thing in the world. 2 weeks later, my aunt was like, hey, I have some extra peacock feathers for you if you want them. And my mom was like, what the hell? Like, that is the most random thing ever. So, and like, same thing with my Nana. Like, she can, like, I feel like my family just gets whatever they put out into the universe. Like, we can manifest whatever the heck we want as long as we do it. So I do believe in like manifestation because I've seen it, and I do think no matter how it works, if it's like some kind of weird universe spiritual thing, or even if it's just, keeping something in your mind and then you end up doing it, like either way, I think that it does work. It's just hard to keep with it and like actually do it. Like, you have to keep a super positive mindset and like continuously like ask for the things that you want. But I think my family is very powerful and we're very, very lucky and we never have anything bad happen to us. But the point being, I feel like we're magical, my family. And me and my mom both had the same dream in one night of a ceiling crashing down on me. So I just felt like that was kind of crazy. Also, on a side note related to that, my Nana, I think, is kind of psychic because she was downstairs in her house doing laundry one day and she was just like, Jordan, which is my cousin's name. She just like randomly was like, oh my God, is he okay? So she ran upstairs and called him and he had just got into a huge car accident. And I'm just like, stuff like that happens in my family all the time. Like, I'm not kidding you guys. Like my family is like extremely intuitive or like, I don't know. The angels are on our side. Also, speaking of angels, I was born on an angel number, 333. So I don't know. My family is just, we're a family of witches or something. I don't know. Got a little sidetracked, but it's dream related, I swear. My family is very interesting, but I think that like nothing bad ever happens to my family. Like we're very like lucky and we always get what we want. Slay. Slay, beef family, slay. And I'm very thankful for that. But anyway, I take my mom's dreams very seriously. Speaking of my mom's dreams, I just remembered she had this one dream that I think about all the time. That it's a funny dream. She like woke up laughing at it because she had a dream that my brother wanted to buy like a Razor scooter. So they went to this person to go buy it from him. And they're like, okay, how much is the scooter? And the guy selling it said 1 and 1 hamburger 30. So like in her dream, currency was like hamburgers. And so the scooter costs 1 and 1 hamburger 30. And I just think about that all the time. Because dreams are so like they just can come up with the most random stuff that you'd never come up with in real life. And my favorite dreams are when you wake up laughing. That literally happened to me just this week while I was sick. I woke up crying laughing at one of my dreams because it was so funny. I was napping on the couch because I was sick. I was super sick, laying on the couch, and my boyfriend was playing music on the TV, as he does. He's always playing music on the TV. So there's music playing, and I was sleeping on the couch, and there was this song playing on the TV that was like, wee do 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 do. Wee do 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 do. And like it was doing that over and over and over and over and over. And I was hearing that sound in my dream. And in my dream, that sound was my laugh. In my dream, I was crying, laughing because I was laughing, and that sound was my laugh. And that sound being my laugh was making me laugh even harder. So then I would laugh with that sound again, and I just was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. And it was just like me like crying, laughing like that. But I was like doing the motions of laughing, but the sound coming out of me was like wee do do do. And just hearing that and like me silently laughing but making that sound had me dead in my dream. And then I woke up and I like woke up in the middle of a laugh, and then I like thought about what I was laughing at, or I like thought about what my dream was about, and then I heard the music on the TV and I was like, oh my God, that was my laugh in my dream. And then I told my boyfriend, of course, I was like, that sound in that song was my laugh. It was so freaking funny. I always have dreams that I wake up like dying laughing at, and I love it. That is my favorite like way to dream. Well, the first time that happened was when I was a kid. I had these little toys called Squishimals, I think. And I had this, they come in like little capsules, like little plastic capsules, like, you know, like the toys you get from like a toy machine that you put quarters in. It was like these little squishy toys that come in little capsules. And I had a frog one. And I kept it in the capsule. So it was just like a little frog, a squishy frog in a bubble. And I had a dream that I was in class and the frog squishable in the capsule was like a bubble and it was like floating around the classroom. And for some reason in the dream, I was just dying laughing at that. And I couldn't breathe because I was laughing so hard at it. And then I woke up laughing at it. And I was like, why was that so funny? But I was laughing so hard, like I couldn't breathe. Which, speaking of not breathing in dreams, have you ever had a dream that you're drowning and then you actually like wake up unable to breathe? That is so scary. It's like, what the heck, brain? You were dreaming. You could have been breathing underwater. Like, you could have done anything. I had a dream once. I was underwater and I was like holding my breath for like so long. Like, I was like about to die. And then I woke up and I was like, like gasping for air. And I was like, was I like genuinely holding my breath while I was sleeping? Like, brain, why are you trying to kill me while I'm sleeping? Which, dying in sleep is another interesting thing to talk about because you never really do die in your dreams. Like, you are about to die and then right before you die, you wake up. But not me. Because I did have a dream where I died, but we'll get to that. But I've heard people say, like all over TikTok or whatever, like everyone's always like, oh, you always wake up right before you die because your brain doesn't know what it's like to die, and that's why you never dream that. And I was like, whoa, that's deep. I've had dreams where like someone will come up and they stab me, and like the second they stab me, I wake up. Or like, you fall off a building and then you wake up. But I've had a dream where I died and I stayed asleep. So I knew what it was like to be dead in my dream. And it was kind of disappointing, to be honest. In my dream, I died. And then when I was dead, all it was nothingness and my thoughts. I was just in white space. Nothing. I couldn't move. I didn't have a body, no physical form. I was just thoughts. And I was like, oh my God, I'm dead. And now I'm trapped with my thoughts for eternity. So I'm really hoping that was just a crazy dream and not what death will actually be, because it would be like torture. Like, you would be stuck with your thoughts for eternity, or until maybe you get a new life, or I don't know how it works. But in my dream, I died and I was just my thoughts. That's all I was my thoughts. And it was like I was scared. I felt scared. Like, I didn't feel at peace or anything. Like, I felt like, oh no, I'm dead, but I can still think, and I hate this. Some might argue that's what hell is. Yeah, maybe that's what hell was. Because, well, my Nana, we're getting off the topic of sleep now, but my Nana actually, I don't know all the details of the story. I don't know why this happened, but she was like in surgery one time in her life and she died. She like legally died, like her heart stopped for a minute. I don't know how long, maybe a minute or two. And she died and she remembers it. She said that she felt peaceful and she felt like she didn't want to come back to life. Like, she just felt like, oh, this feels good. Like I just like am at peace. But something was telling her like, no, like now is not your time. You can't die yet. But she was kind of like, oh, I feel very calm. Like, this is okay. But then she was like, no, now this isn't your time. You're not supposed to die yet. So she came back to life. But I was like, slay. Okay, Nana, what the heck? But it sounded like it wasn't too bad from what she said. Yeah, dying in dreams, scary, unpleasant. I have had some like very disturbing dreams. Like, I don't even know if I want to say it. I've had such disturbing dreams before. Like, why would my brain even think of that? Like, that is rated R brain. Like, that is rated X. Like, that is like so messed up. Like, I feel like it's bad to say how fricked up these dreams were, but I've dreamed like, here, I'll just do trigger warning. Trigger warning. I dreamed that my mom's head got cut off. Like, someone just came up to me and my mom and cut her head off, and her head flew onto the ground. I dreamed that my papa, I was just standing there with him, and then like his face turned blue and he had a heart attack and died right in front of me, and that was extremely disturbing to see. I dreamed that my brother like slit his wrists in front of me. Like, that is not something he would do. I don't know, like, I've had such disturbing dreams. And it's been a long time though, you guys. Like, this was like when I was in high school. But I haven't had like a disturbing nightmare like that in a long time, but I have had some like fricked up dreams. Like, that is absolutely unhinged. What the fuck, brain? Why would you dream that? Like, that is not okay. Don't be putting that in my head. But yeah, we've had funny dreams, scary dreams, dreams that are half dreams that are just sleep paralysis. Terrifying, terrifying stuff. I do have I did a Google form to read you guys' dreams. I think only one person responded to it, so we can read that one response. Um, we might have more by now, but we did get a response that someone had a dream that they had cars with traction on the tires that was like such good traction that they could drive up walls, and they were like driving up the walls and parking on them, and then they were like scared that they're on the walls. And I think that that's kind of interesting that we dream such random stuff like that. That'd be sick. That would be sick. Like, dreaming up inventions that don't make any sense. I've definitely done that. I'll wake up and I'm like, that would be such a cool invention, but it's like, it doesn't make any sense though. Like, it couldn't happen. So it's like, is my brain, are dreams like trying to tell us stuff, or are they just like nothing? Like, what the heck are dreams? I feel like your brain is just like going haywire while you're sleeping. Your brain's like, wait, I'm not awake anymore. Like, let me just think about all of the things that I saw today and mash it all together into something weird and pretend like it's real and make it so realistic it feels like it's actually happening. Like, why, brain? Why do you do that? And I also have a theory about how we forget our dreams like so easily. Like, I'll wake up, be sitting there like, wow, that was such a weird dream. And then like 2 seconds later, I'm like, wait, did I even have a dream? Like, it's just instantly gone. I'll even like wake up and tell my boyfriend about the dream. I'll tell him about the whole thing. And then like 5 seconds later, I'm like, what the heck did I even dream about? Like, I'm like, can you tell me what my dream was that I told you earlier? Like, it's completely gone from my brain. And my theory for that is that our brains don't want us to confuse our dreams with real life. So like the second we wake up, your brain's like, oh, you can just forget that ever happened. Like, that wasn't real. So it just like gives you amnesia to everything that happened in the dreams. That is my theory as to why we forget dreams so easily. I wish we could remember them a little better, because sometimes I want to remember. I'm like, oh, that was such a weird dream. And then it's just, it's just instantly gone from my brain. Sorry, I'm still getting over my cold. But yeah, that is my theory. But yeah, dreams are super weird. Just before the podcast, I was asking my boyfriend, like, do you have any interesting dream topics for me to talk about on the podcast? And he said, he was talking about how, disclaimer, my boyfriend smokes weed sometimes. He's talking about how when he smokes weed, he doesn't have any dreams at all. But when he stops smoking weed, he'll have like a million super vivid, insane dreams, and they'll all come in at once. Like the second you stop smoking weed, like you'll have all these insane, vivid dreams. And his theory on that was that you don't have dreams when you're smoking, and then when you stop, like all the dreams you would have had when you were smoking weed like all pile up, and then you have them all at once when you stop smoking weed. And I was like, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. And I do not smoke weed because I feel like it's weird. I like it like once in a while. We'll have a whole podcast about drugs, but I don't know, I can't do it. I'm too like, it makes me paranoid. But yeah, I guess that if you smoke weed, you don't really have dreams. But then when you stop dreaming, or when you stop smoking and dreaming, you start having these insane, like, ultra dreams, because it all piles up. Drugs. Yeah, we're gonna have a drug stream. But yeah, dreams are weird. Do they always mean something? Definitely not. I think dreams can just be a random, jumbled mess of things. I don't think I think they can have meaning, like that dream that me and my mom both had on the same night. We had the same dream on the same night. I feel like maybe that means something, but I don't think that dreams have to mean anything because I dream the most random stuff, and I don't think that it means absolutely anything. I think that it's just insanity. So I hope that you all have sweet dreams tonight. Don't smoke weed so that you can have dreams, or do smoke weed for a while and then suddenly stop so you can have some insane, vivid dreams, or even try lucid dreaming. I heard that you can control, like, train yourself to lucid dream. There's ways to try to do that, to try to lucid dream. Lucid dreaming, if you don't know, is when you're awake in your dream, like you're dreaming but you know that you're dreaming. Oh gosh, I forgot to talk about that. That is absolutely insane when that happens. I've had dreams where, like, I think this happened when I was in like middle school. Like, I was a kid. I was in a dream and I like suddenly became aware that I was in a dream, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in a dream. Like, am I trapped here? Like, how do I get out? Like, I don't know how to wake myself up." Dark Dolphin, thank you for the sub. I was like, how do I wake myself up? So I went to like there was like other people walking around in my dream, and I was like I'm dreaming, how do I wake up? And they're like, no, you're not. And they were like gaslighting me into thinking I wasn't dreaming. And they're like, no, you're awake. And I was like, no, I'm dreaming. Like, I have to wake up. I have to wake up. I don't know how to wake myself up. Like, I'm gonna be trapped here forever. I'm gonna be stuck sleeping forever. And they're like, no, you're crazy. You're not dreaming. And then I think I like went and like crouched into a little ball, and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And then I eventually woke up. But that was when I was a kid. But since I've gotten older, now when I know that I'm dreaming, this hasn't happened to me in forever, but when I am aware that I'm in a dream, the last like 5 times this happened to me, this happens to me very often, or it used to, is when I become aware in a dream, I'll be like, oh, I'm dreaming. Like, I'm gonna take this opportunity to try to like do whatever I want. Like, I'm dreaming. I can do anything in the world. So like I'll usually try to fly around, but it's always hard to do. Like, when you're like, I know I'm dreaming, so I know that I can fly. I'm able to like fly like 3 feet and then I fall down. And I'm like fighting with my brain, like, I know you can make me fly. Now do it. But my brain is just like, I don't know how now. Now that you're putting me on the spot, man. Like, I don't know how to. So like I'll try super hard to do that. But there was one dream I was aware that I was dreaming that I was successful in. I was dreaming that I was like out in this city, and I was kind of walking around, and then I suddenly became aware, like, oh, I'm in a dream right now. And I was like fully confident that I was in a dream. I was like, I know that I'm dreaming. I can do whatever I want. So I was like, I can just rob a car and drive it as fast as I can. So that's what I did. I went to this parking lot and found like this super nice sports car. And I was like, this is a dream. So this sports car is going to be unlocked and I don't need a key. So I walk up to it, unlocked. I get into the sports car and I drive it onto the freeway and I just floor it, like pedal to the floor, driving this race car like as fast as I can. And I was like, there are no consequences. I can't die because I'm dreaming. And I wasn't afraid at all. And it was very, very fun. So if you ever become aware that you're dreaming, I recommend doing that. Just get in a sports car and drive as fast as you can, because my go-to when I become aware that I'm dreaming is always to fly, but my brain can't always do that on the spot. I can't always make myself fly. So find a freaking sports car and drive that shit, put the pedal to the floor, and drive as fast as you can, because there are no consequences and it's fun. So that was a great time I had. Yeah, and then lucid dreaming. That is lucid dreaming, but I guess you can control when you lucid dream, and it's fun too. So you should maybe learn how to lucid dream. Maybe that's your guys' homework. Go learn how to lucid dream, have some lucid dreams, and you can do whatever you want in your dreams. You might as well, because why not? It'd be fun. You can drive around in sports cars and fly around the city. But alas, we are coming to the end of the podcast. Thank you guys for being here and listening to my weird dreams and random things that I talked about. I hope that you all have great dreams tonight. I hope that you become aware that you're dreaming and do whatever you want. You know, follow your dreams in your dreams, bro. Thank you guys for being here. I am going to be streaming a gaming stream after this, so if you're in chat right now, stay tuned. I'm going to be right back with some Security Breach Ruin. We're going to try and beat that tonight. If you're just here for the podcast, thank you so much for being here. My next podcast is just going to be very soon, this Sunday. This one's late, so it's Thursday today. The next one's going to be Sunday. We're going to be talking about ghosts on Sunday, so be there for episode 5 this Sunday, talking about ghosts. I am going to stop this recording and switch over to my live scene. I might actually end the stream, we'll see. But I'll be back in a couple minutes and we will start the Security Breach Ruin. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming to the Here's the Beef podcast. I think I'm getting better at this. I think each podcast I'm getting a little bit better at running these. At first it was a bit awkward, but you know, practice is making perfect. And stay tuned. I'll be right back. If you're here for just the podcast, then goodbye. Love you all.